To the channel, courtesy of PoGo Drago, one of my longtime viewers of the channel. PoGo Drago has been around almost since day one of this channel, so very kind to share these battles with us. It's a pretty standard team, but Drapion doesn't get a lot of shine in the Open Great League. It's still very good, especially in its Shadow form. Has a lot of very broad coverage in the Open Great League, and pairing it today with Noctowl and Drapion, as we can see here. So super excited for these battles. Big thanks to PoGo Drago for the submission. Shadow Drapion can put in the work for sure. Puts out a lot of damage as a Shadow as well. And here we go, Shadow Dragonair. Speaking of Shadows, not the best matchup for Noctowl, but Noctowl puts in the work for sure. Most Shadow Dragonair trainers will expend the shields to control alignment. PoGo Drago is going to let that body slam go as he does survive and going to fire right back with a sky attack. This would not quite KO, but it would be doing quite a bit of damage. And grabs the early shield as expected from the Dragonair. The opponent pivots into, it looked like Water Gun Lapras. So you don't see these too often. Of course, Water Gun does have stab, applies quite a bit of fast move pressure, and Drago's going to beat this with his Drapion and shield up the Surf. Of course, Drapion does outpace Lapras to these very hard-hitting crunches with stabs. Going to be interesting to see how much that does. That does big damage. Lapras, about as tanky as it gets. That was quite impressive. And now just going to fire off the resisted Aqua Tail, as that is more than enough to say bye-bye to the Lapras. As I mentioned, most Shadow Dragonair trainers do need to preserve those shields for the Dragonair. So Lapras plays out the zeros, and in comes the Shadow Dragonair. PoGo Drago is going to let this go, and I would imagine, of course, bring in the Drapion onto this Dragonair. And in certain shielding scenarios, Drapion isn't safe either, but they've got a Togekiss in the back in the Great League. Very spicy backline. I don't know what this trader does with a very strong Registeel, but that is beside the point. We've got Drapion on this Charmer, going to fire off the Rock Slide, which would be hitting for super effective. And they do cut the losses. Let it go. The Dragonair is very close to a move. Oh, I'm going to catch onto the Noctowl. Brilliant timing by PoGo Drago. Adding insult to injury, and this was already over before the catch, but yeah, it is 100% over at this point. The opponent just lets it go, realizing that Drago is at the back-to-back. That's going to be a good game well played. Drapion has traditionally been a very solid safe swap in the Great League, and here we go. Shiny Lucario, likely fresh off of the Lucario hatch day. This is decent for Noctowl. Of course, taking neutral damage from the fast move pressure, but Lucario basically made of tissue paper and does have to shield up the neutral sky attack. Noctowl gonna let this go. It is the close combat, nearly one-shotting. Lucario is absolutely insane. The damage output off the charts. Drago going to pivot into Shadow Drapion and look to fire off this Aqua Tail here and grabbing the final shield, as Lucario absolutely needs those shields to perform at its best. Gonna shield up the next close combat here, and would definitely is at the Aqua Tail. I was going to say was going to outpace, but was already there, as Drapion's about as spammy as it gets. We say bye-bye to the Lucario. And they've got a Galarian Slowbro in the back. Holy smokes, these teams are super spicy here in the Great League. Holy smokes, and they look to catch a crunch onto a Drifblim. My goodness. This is a very spicy team from the opponent, and Drago lags, does not get to get off the move. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely brutal. Holy smokes. So now down to Drapion, up a shield, but now debuffed. Yeah, gonna have to throw this Rock Slide here. And although debuffed, that is enough to say bye-bye to the Drifblim. And now, I think even with the debuff, this Earthquake would do quite a bit. should one-shot, but gonna try and catch, but most importantly, clear the debuff to just ensure this victory. Gfisk comfortably tanks a Surf, no problem, especially when it doesn't have Stab. In is at the Earthquake here. There are no shields. We're saying bye-bye to the Galarian Slowbro as well. My goodness, this team putting on a clinic. That's gonna be a good game. Well played. Big thanks once again to Pogo Drago for the battle submission. Here we go, picking up a positive lead, coming in the form of Jellicent. They make a play into Lantern, and it is Gfisk time. Now, Lantern, being the powerhouse that it is, can make this very, very close. Gfisk has to successfully land a bait to take out this Lantern here, but the Lantern will need 3 Surfs to take out this Gfisk. Very interesting to see how this plays out. Pogo Drago going to let the first 2 go, as the Lantern will very much struggle to farm down. Gonna bait, knowing that he does need to successfully bait, but the opponent calls it successfully. What a savage call. And now Drago's going to fire off the EQ, likely reading that they're just going to let it go. But no, they don't. Holy smokes, the opponent making all the right calls, but going to throw energy. They might have lost track of the energy because it looks like they could have gotten that farm down, but they play it safe and throw that Surf to control the alignment. It did cost them a shield, though. But Drago recognizes that he does not need Switch. He's got 2 amazing answers to that Jellicent. And getting rid of the Gfisk, as that is the worst matchup on this team for that Jellicent, was the right call. Gonna fire off this Crunch, take out the Lantern, and they come back in with the Jellicent. Very interesting. So wondering what they have in the back. Gonna fire off this Crunch. It does not KO, as Jellicent is quite tanky on the CMP tie, and Jellicent takes that quite comfortably. Gets the defense drop, which is never a bad thing. And going to shield up the Surf, not knowing what's in the back, and just going to overload and go for the Crunch here and see what the opponent wants to do. It will be very interesting. They do let it go. What's in the back? It's an A9 running Powder Snow. So this is getting a little sweaty here for the Noctowl. Gonna fire off the Aqua Tail here. A9 does tank that, and Drago just needs to get the shield. Drago banked a move and just needs to get the shield off of this A9 here. The wing attacks will get it within Aqua Tail range. And this is looking like game over here. Drago is in cruise control, as I always say. They cannot farm down. Gonna throw the move. And Drago did bank an Aqua Tail, so this is looking like lights out yet again. Hitting that Aqua Tail before the Powder Snow registers. Drago in full control. We're saying bye-bye to the A9. Courtesy of Drapion. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Drapion still putting in work in the Great League. You absolutely love to see it. And here we go. Pelipper, pretty neutral matchup for Noctowl. Noctowl does lose this in the 2s, and it is very narrow in the 0s. It is very much IV dependent. But gonna fire off the Sky Attack here, and Pelipper does let that go. As it does tank 1 Sky Attack, it will struggle to tank 2. Now, Pelipper should go for the Hurricane, but they go for the Weather Ball. Noctowl's not shielding, and they're just going to fire off the back-to-back here. This will not KO. And Noctowl's going to have to shield if they want to win lead here, as this Sky Attack would be lights out for the opposing Pelipper here. And they do shield, and now this is where it comes down to IVs. And they simul KO. Oh my goodness, that's a win for Pogo Drago. Simul KO, but got the shield in the process. You love to see it. Pogo Drago brings in Drapion, and they've got a Piloswine in the back. Shiny Piloswine. Drago, what are these teams, my friend? What is going Oh my goodness, the spice was nice, I presume, during these battles. Gonna fire off the Aqua Tail. This is where Aqua Tail really comes in clutch for these ground types. Excellent ground type coverage from Drapion. And Drapion does outpace, does have to shield the avalanches as they do hit like a truck, and grabbing the final shield from the Piloswine. Gonna shield this and look to get rid of this thing, as it can run high horsepower, which could be trouble for Gfisk. And they've got a grass type in the back. I did not see what grass type it was. I'm assuming Meganium. But no, it's a Tangrowth. The spice continues. Holy smokes. Oh, gets the defense drop and the catch on the rock slide to add insult to injury yet again. Drago putting on a clinic. That is just demoralizing. It is over. And the opponent does realize that, as they do promptly. Top left. What a catch. What a play. Good game well played. Drago putting on a clinic, making some brilliant plays here in the Great League. You'd love to see it. Here you go. Drapion, not bad for Noctowl. Noctowl does quite all right here. It can comfortably tank 2 of these crunches, as it is not a shadow, and Drapion will struggle to farm down with poison stings, which do not apply very much fast foot pressure. Noctowl does lose the CMP tie and gonna let this go, as he does tank it quite comfortably. As I mentioned, and Drapion will struggle to farm down. Noctowl at the back-to-back here, going to fire off this Sky Attack here. Drapion does survive, but going to have to give up a shield or catch if they want to win lead. They don't want to win lead. They want to preserve that Drapion, catching it on their own Noctowl, and now Drago will beat this with his Stunfisk. And unless this is a swag-approved Noctowl, this is going to be quite good for G-Fisk here. Going to fire off the first Rock Slide. G-Fisk does generally need to land 3, but this Noctowl did already tank a Sky Attack, so G-Fisk will only need 2 to dispatch of this very bulky owl here. Going to overload just a little bit and fire off Rock Slide number 2. I don't imagine they shield this. They do let it go. And going to come in with the low health Drapion. Very interesting. And I do believe this is just an Aqua Tail here. Yeah, they just fire off the Aqua Tail. And G-Fisk not quite going to be able to farm down. Going to catch that back onto the Noctowl. One good catch deserves another. They're catching on you. You got to give it right back. And Drago does that indeed. Oh my goodness, you love to see it. Gonna wait down the switch clock, and they've got a Girafarig in the back, so this is okay for Drapion here, although it is taking neutral damage from these double kicks, and they will begin to add up. Shield out the Thunderbolt, and what a call! They do go right for that massive Thunderbolt when shields are up. Very interesting play. And going to fire off the super effective Crunch, grabbing a shield here and firing off number 2 with proper timing, I might add. And Girafarig, yeah, I think needs to shield both of these. And the catch yet again, Drago. Oh my goodness, the plays are off the charts here in the Great League. Very unnecessary catch, but gotta finish things off with style. My goodness, grabbing the shields and saying bye-bye with G-Fisk. And yeah, that Drapion goes down to a mud shot. Holy smokes. Drago putting in the work in the Great League. That is the team. Big thanks to PoGo Drago for the battle submissions. Like I said, PoGo Drago's been a loyal viewer of the channel since just about day 1 of this channel. So been around a long time. I really appreciate you, my friend. And yeah, these were some amazing battles. Very much appreciated. And guys, I had a blast. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.